Good morning from Thailand, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yasotara Siriphaprapagon from Mahachulalongkorn Rajavithyalaya with my friend Suriya Klangrit from Mahidol University and Dr. Klangrit Kantiang from Rajamangala University of Technology, Sivichai. We are from Thailand. Today, we would like to take a few minutes of your time to talk about our paper titles on the traditional belief in peace spirit of Thai Gui peoples in Surin province, Thailand. Beyond that, before begins our presentation, we would love to explain our feelings for gratefulness to Northern Illinois University in the U.S. for accept our paper and give us the opportunity for presentation today. Thank you so very much. Okay, now the presentation will be presented by Suriya Klangrit. Please enjoy.
Let's go to the presentation. So I'm going to talk about the traditional beliefs in peace spirit of Thai Gui people in Surin province of Thailand. So Thai Gui. So this is the outline of my presentation. I'm going to be talking about the introduction and cultural identities of Thai Gui people, the traditional beliefs of peace or spirit, and peace spirit related to way of life, and the influence and roles of peace spirit to the way of life, and then it will be conclusions. So I'm going to talk about, yes, the first in the picture here is the picture of Thailand in the map of Thailand, and you can see here on the right hand side my hand is about in Surin province and Surin map, and you can see the sub-district or the district inside where the ethnic group located in. Okay, let's see here is about the Thailand is one of the countries in South Asia with married form of cultural heritage due to its long history and the ethnic and religious diversity of past and present inhabitants. So Surin province is in the northeastern region of or Isan, which many people refer to the southern people like the Surinese. So the province is the home of the people from different ethnic groups, such as Khmer people, Lao, and Gui people. So like the famous for the silk textile and silverware production. So I'm going to show you the evidence in the provincial motto, like it says Surin, the land of big elephants, splendid silk, beautiful silver bead, many ancient temples, sweet radish, fragrance, bright beauty, together with culture. So here is a display in Surin. And it's going to be like talk a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Surin, like in the area here. You can see Surin is in in the northeastern province of Thailand or Isan, like I told you before. It's 470 kilometers from Bangkok. So the area is 8,124 square kilometers and divided into the 7 districts. And then it's like Mueang district ชุมพลท่าตูมจอมพระปราสาทกับเชิงรัตนบุรีสนมสิขรภูมิสังขะสำโรงทาบบัวเชษลำดวนศรีนรงค์พนมดงรัก and ขวาวศรีนรินทร์ So the Gui and ethnic groups settle along and the Mekong River near Dong Rak Mountain. They specialize in capturing elephants to use in domestic animal. Like you see, like I show you here, it's about Thai that I'm talking to about the Thai Gui people. Here's the picture of the Thai Gui people. You can see, like this is the way they dress, the way they look like for the woman and for the man. So see the way in the traditional dress of the Gui people who live in the area in Surin province. So, like in the some scholars say that Surin was settled and broadly the same time as the Khmer Empire for a long time ago, and it was established. The subsequent fall in Khmer Empire affected Surin, which was abundance for 3 centuries. So the accumulation for ethnic groups like a Lao, Khmer people and Gui. So Luang Surin Pakdi encouraged the developments of Surin city like in uh, 70 and 67. And that's why. Okay. Here. Like I want to talk about that I told you before in Surin, there are 3 ethnic groups who live in the Surin province. So the Gui people, like who stay in Surin, they are living in the area, so in many districts that I told you before. But right now, but you can see not just only in Thailand, you can see the Gui people in Laos, PDR, and in Cambodia. In some provinces, they have the Gui, so many groups, so many people, and I mean like a Gui ethnic group in the area. So like in the big area of Southeast Asia, especially in 3 countries in here. But for in Thailand, they stay in the south of Isan, like in the Surin province. So they're living in the area of in many districts around Surin province. So like I will show example like in Taklang village at Tatum district, and Tan village, Siriphaprapagon district, and Pakien village in Samrung Thap district, and then here is a big group. So if we say about the Gui and ethnic groups, we can say that Gui people, they are also Asiatic ethnic groups or traditional Mon Khmer language groups of family. So they have their own language, they have their own culture, and they have their own identity. As you can see the picture here, in the way they dress, and the way they what they have is like they capture an elephant, they feed an elephant for in the way of life, for the working and so or something like that. This is the cultural identity or ethnic identity of the Gui people in the area. So the husband, I would say that in the Gui people here, if we talk about the cultural identity of Thai Gui people, we can say that Thai Gui people, they're settled in southern of Isan, in Surin province, and the ethnic group have the practice. You know, the ethnic or the ethnic groups or the way of life, they have their own identity that I told you before, custom, tradition, and beliefs. But the most important thing for the ethnic groups, they have their traditional beliefs or the belief in the spirit of peace that I try to explain today and specific and explain more about this. So if I say that the ethnic group have like the group practice, the ethnic groups have practiced and keep their traditional beliefs and ritual, especially their beliefs in the power of spirit, right, and devil mastery. On nearly 1,000 years, their beliefs are still present in our modern society. Their belief in the supernatural power is still obviously present and has become a part of the ritual, process, component, and the pattern. So P is one of the human beliefs, and that began in distant past. P is an invisible object and has powerful effect and play virtual roles in the people. Moreover, the beliefs in P is also found in the other traditional ethnic groups as well in certain province, like in Laos or in Khmer ethnic groups. They also have the same, a similar traditional belief as well. So, what I want to say that the belief is expressed in many ways of ethnic group. These beliefs explain the uniqueness of cultural identity of Thai Gui people, especially the traditional belief system of the ethnic groups of P, being a spirit as invisible object with the power to bring about good and bad happening to people. So people worship spirit with the expect safety for themselves, family, and the community. So right here you can see P are the various places in the big tree in century historic sites in river. By this belief, it became the idea to build guardian spirit houses or san buddha for the spirit to live in. Okay, like you see, for Thai people, they have beliefs in. So there are many kinds of the spirit, both good and bad. So in terms of traditional belief system, it is an interesting subject that to study about and explain how and why the roles of belief has affected to the way of life of the people, especially in the traditional ethnic groups or Khoi people. Uh-huh. So this is picture that I try to show you is about the P. Here is like the terms of like the beliefs in P, belief and ritual, the belief in spirit, especially the belief in the power of the spirit, which inherited from generation to generation with the ethnic groups from many thousand years. Here is like the places where the Gui people they kept the item, some sacred item or the spirit in. It's like a San Buddha or the house of spirit. And then you can see this kind of the house. They built a house for the spirit, and this is the place for the spirit to live in. It's just something like that. This is kind of the way they're thinking, the way they believe, as I told you before, cultural identity of Thai people in here. And so the belief in P that I talked here, especially beliefs in power of the spirit, is inherited from generation to generation within ethnic groups, although the exact time is unknown. But some scholars believe that Thai people have been living in the Suriya province for thousands of years. The root of the belief in the supernatural power of the P, or as we call animism. The type of spirit is cultural or ethnic identity in the way of life of the Khoi people and the ideology and cosmology. So the identity of the Khoi people can divide as one is the guardian spirit for the family, two protective spirit in houses and workplace. The third one is good and evil spirit in the other places. So these beliefs is related to the way of life of the Gui people, and so the belief in the P of the Thai Gui people is a pattern of the cultural relationships, inhabitation, coexistence, which finally became the cultural identity of the Gui ethnic groups that as I mentioned before. This term became to be cultural identity of Thai Gui people or Gui ethnic groups. So, let's go to the next. If I'm talking about the traditional beliefs in P or spirit, like the importance of the belief in the is caused by the fear and uncertainty of life that based initially on the fear of supernatural power, invisible objects, secret things, and controlling power and superstition. So the belief of P became a cultural identity or traditional of Thai people. The way of life is influenced and P is relied upon, especially for the productivity of agriculture. So the people respect and also accept the P into the other parts of their life as encouragements and reliable sacred item, because P has this supernatural power, and so P can bring people good and bad effects. By this belief, the P will be worshipped and with their expectation of their health and protection. Some P has the power of the treatment for the rare illness. So the mighty spirit will be invited to treat the people, such as in the Gelmon ritual. So the P is present in many forms, such as like in the perception, the form as a god, angel, or invisible power. So the traditional belief has been strongly accepted and becomes to be belief system that are talking. Those kind of the belief have driven the Gui people or Gui ethnic groups in many ways of life. like a general living, traveling, safety, inhabitants, prosperity, and agricultural or overall productivity. So the traditional acceptance in the power of P has been believed from generation to generation of the present time. The expression of belief still can be found nowadays, and even though there are modern way of life with many convention devices, so the belief become to be a ritual followed by its procedure, components, and pattern. The the traditional beliefs of P in the Thai language, in Gui language they call Gamoy, or in Thai language they call P. Is the meaning is the spirit, or the holy things, or the ghost. Some people say the ghost. Okay. So in the Gui ethnic groups can divide into three aspects. So one is became from traditional conceptual thinking of spirit or animism that I talked with you. It's about the spirit. And through the ritual derived from beliefs are following by its pattern, procedure, and component. They have all these elements or like components in the beliefs. And the third one, it is an assimilation or traditional belief, animism and Brahmanism or the ritual, which is true in the spiritual beliefs and ritual. They can show in the ritual. So the belief of spirit is expressed by their local language. I told you, Gomoy or P in Thai language, which communicate through the spirit and showing their respect, worship, and belief in the power of the spirit, like a supernatural power of superstition. So these are the type of the traditional belief or P that I told you in the mention in here. P beliefs in the 1 to 3. Okay, I'm gonna say the other type of traditional belief or P or spirit. The first one, for example, like one is Yachui Frame. Is P or Puta, like it's a one, is a type of the spirit or Puta who protect the village and place or the community for peacefulness or prosperity. It's the one. And you can see here in the picture, okay? And the second one is about it means the worshipping will take place 2 times a year for the community, including the church and the 6 months of the year. This is for the community. So the second one is Yachudung. It means the dung in Gui language, it means the house. Okay. พูดภาษากุยด้วยแบบนี้ So Yachudung is a guardian spirit who protects the house and family member. The worshipping will be held on the special occasion of the family, such as a marriage, blessing, and new house welcoming ceremony. So this spirit is a respect as an ancestor spirit. You see that the second one is the spirit for the house protection, something like that. So for what the Gui ethnic group doing for worshipping is called Sen Aya. This is a Gui language. The meaning is a ritual to worship spirit for the asking for protecting a group of the people, and offering will be prepared at Puta house to provide to the spirit. And you can see in the picture here, the offerings think that they do it as a ritual to offering to the spirit, their respect or something like that. And okay, let me check. Okay, thank you. So I would say you're an important. You can say that an important roles. Also, I'm going to talk about an importance and roles of the beliefs in P or spirit. Like you say, to the way of life. There, as I told you that the Gui people, they believe in the special power of the P could enlighten the believer, bring safety, inhabitants, prosperity, and peacefulness. This belief leads the people to make an action and to reflect by physical and mental expressions, such as doing ritual and worshipping to pay respect and offering to the spirit. Those are an important and roles of the beliefs in P of Thai Gui people, based on traditional beliefs in the spirit and ritual. And it's become I said before, it has become an identity of Thai people as a traditional which affected to or influence to the way of life of the Gui ethnic group. For example, like the ancestor spirit must be informed of a marriage in your family. And then the second one, the spirit retrieving ceremony is practiced to treat people who are ill, and modern medicines could not fly the course. And the ceremony is aimed to console the illness people, like they call Kwan, to ask the ancestor spirit for help. And the third one, like the guardians of spirit, must be informed of their ordination ceremony for family member to bless all member, especially for prosperity and for the tourists to the merit, something like that. And for an annual, the annual spirit worship in Galmo ritual, the ritual for communication with ancestor spirit is aimed to the worshipping the ancestor spirit by inviting to the spirit to join the ceremony. So the ritual is practiced annually, and spirit dancing and offering are provided. Like we give something for the worship to give special thing to the spirit. I mean the thing that we respect. So this is called this is we call the influence and the roles of the people spirit to the way of life of Gui people, right? And then this one is about, I'm going to talk about the conclusion that it's like a traditional beliefs in P or the power of the spirit has been believed and respect for many generations. So this ritual belief was inherited from generation to generation until the present. So for expression, the expression of the belief still can be found in our day. Even the modern way of life and the many conventions get something like that. And then the beliefs become the ritual followed by the procedure, component and patterns of the tradition, belief of P or of the Gui ethnic groups. So like I told you, it can be divided into three aspects, like animism and then ritual as its pattern, procedure and component. And about the beliefs are combination of the tradition, belief, animism and Brahmanism. I mean spirit and the ritual which spread in the area in a combination with spiritual beliefs and ritual as well. So the belief is expressed by the local or language, like a Gui language, which is used to communicate with the spirit, showing their respect, worship, and belief in supernatural power. So the beliefs in spirit and ritual become an identity of Thai Gui people as tradition, which affected to the way of life of ethnic groups. So the influence and the roles of the belief in P is related to the way of life of the people in like a marriage, for the healing, and for the ceremony, and for the ordinary or something like that, like a guardian spirit, for blessing or anything. Especially like if I like to sum up in here, I can talk a little bit just spirit like I need the people like the other group, not just only Gui people, for the other traditional ethnic group, and they have the beliefs in spirit or animism. I need the other someone who are of their culture to understand deeply to the spirit in the way they're thinking, the ideology or cosmology in the spirit. Why the spirit have affected to the way of life of the people in here? Because they have the mechanism for the controlling the people who lead the action to be as a controlling the behavior of the people, to show some in the terms of the, we can say like a social norm with the people, to make connection the human to the human, and connection with human to the superstition, like a supernatural power. And that is for they become the identity of the Gui people. that they have the meaning inside of in their belief, not just like I don't want to be people say that or think that it's useless thing, but this is in terms of the belief, in terms of the meaning, they still be with the people who have positive way or affection through the physical and mental health or body and mind of the ethnic groups of the people. That's what I want to share with you today. So I would like to say thank you so very much for your time and listening. So I'm very happy to ask you question if you have or any question, and you can send me by email. And I have to say thank you so very much, and thank you in IU. Thank you.